Ready for a deep dive?
Always.
Let's get right into it then.
Yeah.
Today we're diving into one of history's most radical thinkers,
Definitely radical.
Baruch Spinoza,
A 17th century philosopher.
who was actually excommunicated.
Right, from his own community for his unorthodox views.
You know what I thought was so interesting? Is that even though
Yeah.
he was kicked out of the Jewish community,
Mm.
his philosophy wasn't about rejecting God.
It wasn't about that at all.
So what was it about?
Well, he had this idea called God or nature.
God or
It's
nature?
this radical concept where
Yes.
everything is interconnected. He saw the divine in absolutely everything.
So like my dog,
Yes.
my coffee cup, that annoying pigeon,
Exactly.
all divine.
All divine.
How interesting.
It all starts with this idea of substance monism.
Substance monism.
Now, I know that sounds like something out of a textbook,
Does a little bit.
but stick with me.
Okay, I'm all ears. Substance monism.
Okay, so basically, Spinoza believed that there is only one substance in existence,
Wow.
and it's both God and nature.
Whoa.
Not two separate things,
Right?
but one and the same.
Interesting.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
Imagine a drop of water in the ocean.
Right.
It's still water, right?
Yeah.
But it's also part of this vast, interconnected whole.
So that drop of water is everything.
In a way, yes.
And that's how Spinoza saw everything.
Yes, connected to this one divine substance.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
Good.
So instead of seeing God as separate,
Yeah.
up in the clouds somewhere,
Up there somewhere.
Spinoza is saying God is all around us,
Yes.
in everything we see and experience.
Precisely.
So he called it God or nature.
Yeah, because ultimately they're the
Wow.
same thing.
That's a pretty profound shift in perspective.
It is.
Yeah, it really is. It's like looking at the world through a completely different lens. So
Exactly.
how did this idea connect to living a better life?
Oh, that's where it gets really interesting. I know.
You see, if everything is connected to this one divine substance,
Yeah.
then even seemingly insignificant things are part of something much bigger.
Okay.
Think about how we understand ecosystems now.
Right.
Even the tiniest organisms play a vital role.
Yeah, totally. Like bees pollinating flowers or those little microscopic creatures that break down stuff.
Exactly.
Everything's connected.
Everything is connected.
And for Spinoza,
Yeah.
recognizing this interconnectedness to living a more fulfilling life.
He believed that understanding our place in this grand scheme of things,
Okay.
seeing the divine in everything, could bring a sense of peace
Peace.
and purpose.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But hold on a second.
Yeah.
Didn't Spinoza also believe that everything is determined?
He did.
Like, we don't actually have free will.
That's right.
And that's one of the most challenging aspects
It
of
is.
his philosophy.
Yeah. But for Spinoza,
Okay.
determinism wasn't a bleak idea.
Really?
He actually redefined what freedom means. Okay, now that sounds like a bit of a mind bender.
It is a bit.
How can we be free if everything's predetermined?
Well, Spinoza's idea of freedom
Yeah.
wasn't about making random choices.
So what was it about?
It was about understanding. For him,
Okay.
the more we understand the causes that shape our actions,
Yeah.
the more freedom we have.
So it's like knowing why I do the things I do,
Yeah,
even if those actions are influenced by things outside my control.
exactly.
Okay.
You might feel anger
Yeah.
as this spontaneous reaction.
Totally.
But that anger is actually rooted in past experiences, your upbringing, your biology.
Right.
The more you understand those causes,
Yeah.
the more you can choose how to respond.
So it's not about denying my emotions,
No.
but about understanding where they come from and then making a conscious choice about how to act.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
And that's what Spinoza saw as true freedom.
Oh,
The
God.
freedom that comes from understanding.
Not ignorance.
Not ignorance. He even uses this analogy of a stone being thrown.
A stone.
Imagine if that stone could think.
Okay.
It might think it's moving freely.
Yeah, I can see that.
But really, it's just following the trajectory set by the hand that threw it.
Whoa, that's a powerful image.
It is.
So are you saying we're all just kind of like that stone?
In a way, yes.
Just following a predetermined path?
But here's the crucial part.
Okay.
Spinoza believed that by understanding those predetermined causes, we can gain a new kind of freedom.
A new kind of freedom.
The freedom to act in alignment with our true nature.
So that's how freedom ties back into the idea of God or nature.
Exactly.
And that's where his concept of conatus comes in.
It is?
Hold on, conatus.
I know it's another big word.
Another one. I feel like I need a Spinoza dictionary over here.
Don't worry.
I
It's
don't-
not as complicated as it sounds.
All right.
Conatus is basically the striving of all things
Okay.
to persist and flourish,
To flourish.
to become our best selves.
So like wanting to learn and grow and reach our full potential.
Exactly.
But for Spinoza,
Yuck.
conatus wasn't just about survival.
It wasn't.
It was about thriving,
It was.
about becoming the best versions of ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these ideas are connected,
They are all very connected.
but I'm curious, how does conatus tie into this idea of understanding and freedom?
That's what we're going to delve into next.
Can't wait.
But just remember, this key insight
Okay.
from Spinoza,
Yeah.
everything is connected.
Everything.
From the smallest grain of sand to the vastness of the universe
And understanding that connection
is key.
is the key to unlocking a whole new level of freedom
And meaning.
in your life.
In your life.
Okay, so before we went on that mental journey
Yeah.
through Spinoza's universe,
Right.
you were about to explain how conatus ties into everything else.
Yes. Conatus, remember, is all about that drive within us
Okay.
to persist and flourish, to become the best versions of ourselves. Yeah.
But here's the thing Spinoza believed,
Okay.
that we can't truly flourish if we don't understand
Okay.
our place in the grand scheme of things.
The grand scheme of things.
He saw conatus as being deeply connected to reason and understanding.
So it's not just about blindly striving for something.
Oh.
It's about understanding why we're striving.
Yes.
And how that striving fits into the bigger picture
Yes.
of the universe.
Imagine a plant
Okay.
reaching for the sunlight.
Right.
It's expressing its conatus,
Okay.
its drive to grow and thrive.
Right.
But it's not just growing randomly. It's growing in response to the environment,
Yeah.
to the light and nutrients available to it.
So we're like that plant.
In a way,
But instead of sunlight, we're reaching for understanding.
that's a great analogy.
Thank you.
Spinoza believed the more we understand ourselves
Okay.
and the world around us, the more we can align our actions with our true nature,
Okay.
with our conatus.
And that's where true freedom and fulfillment come from.
So it's not about denying our desires.
Right.
Or trying to become something we're not.
It's not about that.
It's about understanding those desires.
Yes.
Seeing how they fit into the bigger picture.
Uh-huh.
And then acting in a way that's authentic.
Yes.
And meaningful.
Exactly.
It's about living in harmony with ourselves.
Yes.
And with the universe.
Yes. And remember, for Spinoza,
Yeah.
the universe is this interconnected web
Okay.
of existence, all stemming from that one divine substance.
Right. Right.
So when we understand ourselves,
Huh.
we're also understanding the universe and vice versa.
Whoa. Everything keeps circling back
It does.
to this idea of interconnectedness.
It's all connected.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
But let's get practical for a second.
Okay.
How do we actually live out this conatus?
Right.
Does Spinoza give us, like, step-by-step instructions?
Well, he wasn't exactly a self-help guru, but he did provide some insightful examples. One that comes to mind is the analogy of the lens grinder.
The lens grinder.
Yes.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What does that have to do with anything?
So Spinoza describes this lens grinder
Okay.
who finds joy and fulfillment not just in the finished product, the
Yeah.
perfect lens,
Yeah.
but in the process itself.
The process.
The meticulous grinding, the attention to detail, the constant striving for improvement.
Interesting.
He finds meaning in the journey, not just the destination.
So it's like even a seemingly ordinary job
Yeah.
can be a source of deep fulfillment
Like you can't.
if we approach it with the right mindset.
Exactly. And that mindset for Spinoza
Yeah.
is all about understanding.
Understanding.
It's about seeing the work,
Okay.
whatever it may be,
Well-
as an expression of our conatus, as a way of connecting with that divine substance that flows through everything.
I could see how that would apply to, like, craftsmanship.
Yes.
But what about the rest of us?
Right.
I mean, not everyone's a lens grinder.
True, but the principle still applies.
Okay.
It's about finding that connection, that sense of purpose
Okay.
in whatever we do.
And whatever we do.
Whether it's raising a family, building a business,
Yeah.
or even just doing the dishes.
You're saying even washing the dishes
Even washing the dishes.
can be a spiritual experience.
Think about it.
Okay.
If you approach it with mindfulness,
Okay.
with an understanding of the interconnectedness of everything,
Yeah.
even that mundane task can become an act of connection,
Wow.
an expression of your conatus.
That's a pretty radical way of looking at things.
It is.
But I like it.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And there's no easy answer.
Okay.
But I think the key takeaway is that Spinoza challenges us to rethink our assumptions.
Rethink our assumptions.
He asks us to see the divine in nature, to find freedom and understanding, and to live with purpose.
Okay.
Striving to become the best versions of ourselves.
Whatever that may look like.
Whatever that may look like.
He sounds like a pretty radical dude.
He was.
Even for today's standards.
Definitely.
But definitely someone worth listening to.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned before that Spinoza's ideas had a big impact.
Yes, they did.
On later thinkers.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples of how his work has been applied?
Absolutely.
In the real world?
In fact, Spinoza's ideas have been surprisingly influential in a variety of fields.
Like what?
Take, for example, the work of 20th century philosopher Gilles Deleuze.
Okay.
He drew heavily on Spinoza's concepts to develop his own theories about power desire and social change.
So Spinoza wasn't just some abstract philosopher sitting in an ivory tower.
Nope.
His ideas actually had real-world impact.
They did.
Interesting.
His work has inspired activists, artists, even scientists who are working to create a more just and equitable world.
That's amazing.
And his emphasis on reason and understanding is more relevant than ever in our age of information overload and political polarization.
Totally. Speaking of politics, didn't Spinoza have some pretty radical views?
He did.
About the role of the state?
He believed that the state's primary function is to create an environment where individuals can live freely and exercise their reason.
So basically saying the government should support its citizens striving to flourish their conatus.
Exactly.
And this idea has some pretty big implications.
It does.
For how we think about everything.
From education to healthcare to social justice.
Wow, okay, I'm starting to see how these seemingly abstract philosophical ideas can actually be applied.
They can.
To real-world issues.
It's like Spinoza's giving us a framework for thinking about how to create a more just and fulfilling society.
He is. He really was ahead of his time.
He was.
But, you know, we've talked a lot about understanding and reason.
But
what about happiness? Did Spinoza have anything to say about that?
He did. And his views on happiness might surprise you.
Oh, really?
We'll dive into that right after a quick break.
So before we took that break, we were about to uncover Spinoza's secrets.
We were.
To happiness, I am ready to have my mind blown again.
Well, Spinoza's view of happiness might be a bit different from what you might expect. He called it blessedness.
Blessedness.
And it was very closely tied to his ideas about reason and understanding.
Okay, blessedness sounds a bit more intense than just plain old happiness.
It is.
What's the difference?
For Spinoza, blessedness isn't about those fleeting moments of pleasure or getting what you want. It's about achieving this state of deep inner peace.
Deep inner peace.
And contentment. And that comes from living in alignment with your true nature.
With our conatus.
Exactly.
So it's not about winning the lottery or having a perfect Instagram life.
Not at all.
It's about something deeper.
It is
more internal.
Spinoza believed that true happiness or blessedness comes from understanding the world around us and our place within it.
Our place within it.
He argued that all those negative emotions we experience, like fear and anger, often stem from ignorance and misunderstanding.
So the more we understand, the less we suffer.
Exactly.
That's a pretty powerful idea.
It is a powerful idea.
And it goes back to his concept of determinism.
It does.
If we can understand the causes of our emotions.
Even the negative ones.
Even the negative ones. We can start to free ourselves from their grip.
Yes, it's not about denying our emotions, but understanding them.
Understanding them.
Seeing them as part of that web of cause and effect that makes up the universe.
So we can choose how we respond instead of just reacting automatically.
Precisely, and that's what Spinoza meant by true freedom.
The freedom that comes from understanding.
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Good.
But how does this translate into actually living a more fulfilling life?
Right.
Did Spinoza have any practical advice for us?
Well, he really emphasized the importance of living ethically.
Living ethically.
But not because of some reward or punishment in the afterlife.
Okay.
He believed that ethical behavior is simply in alignment with our rational nature.
So being ethical isn't about following rules or trying to be a good person.
Not really.
It's about living in accordance with reason.
You got it.
Wow.
For Spinoza, ethical behavior just flows naturally from understanding our interconnectedness with others and with the natural world.
It's like that saying, do unto others.
Exactly.
But Spinoza takes it a step further.
He does.
It's not just about being nice. It's about recognizing that we're all part of the same fabric of existence.
We're all connected.
And that's why he placed such a strong emphasis on reason.
Yes, he did.
He believed that by cultivating our rational faculties, striving to understand ourselves and the world around us, we can achieve a higher level of well-being.
Both individually and collectively.
Individually and collectively, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But can we really achieve that kind of deep understanding?
That's a good question.
It feels like we're bombarded with so much information these days.
Yeah.
So many conflicting viewpoints.
It's hard to know what to believe.
It really is.
And that's precisely why Spinoza's ideas are so relevant today. He provides a framework for navigating the complexities of modern life.
The complexities.
He encourages us to question our assumptions. To seek out diverse perspectives and to engage in reasoned dialogue even when it's difficult.
Even when it's difficult. So it's about finding those underlying principles that help us make sense of the world even when it feels like everything's falling apart.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a destination.
A journey.
And remember, Spinoza believed that the pursuit of understanding is itself a source of joy and fulfillment.
Really?
He even compared it to love.
Love? Wait, how does love fit into all of this?
Well, for Spinoza, love wasn't just about romantic feelings. It was a much broader concept encompassing a deep appreciation and understanding of something outside of ourselves.
So you're saying we can love ideas?
Yes.
Or even nature?
Think about it. When you truly understand something, when you see its beauty and complexity, you can't help but feel this sense of awe and wonder. That's what he called love. Not just a fleeting feeling, but a deep appreciation that comes from understanding.
So even my frustration with traffic
even that
can be a source of understanding. And dare I say, love.
It's all about perspective. If you can see that traffic jam as a result of complex systems and individual choices, you can start to understand it. And that understanding can lead to a more peaceful acceptance.
Peaceful acceptance?
Maybe even a sense of connection.
Wow.
With all those other drivers who are experiencing the same frustration.
This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
From substance monism to determinism to conatus and blessedness.
It's a lot.
Spinoza has really challenged my thinking.
He's good at that.
And helped me see the world in a whole new light.
That's what we're here for.
He was a truly revolutionary thinker.
He was.
And even though some of his ideas might seem radical, they offer timeless wisdom for navigating the challenges of human existence.
For sure.
So for our listeners who are now emerging from this deep dive into the mind of Spinoza, what's the one thing we want them to take away?
I think it's the Spinoza challenges us to embrace the power of understanding.
The power of understanding.
He shows us that freedom isn't about escaping the constraints of the universe, but about understanding those constraints and then using that knowledge to live a more fulfilling life.
It's like he's saying, don't be afraid to question. To think critically, to challenge the status quo.
Exactly.
The pursuit of knowledge is the path.
It is.
To true freedom, true happiness, true blessedness.
He would say that.
Pretty amazing.
It is.
For a guy who was excommunicated, right?
Yeah, his message continues to resonate.
It does.
Centuries later.
Well, there you have it. Deep divers, we have explored the life, the times, and the mind-blowing ideas of Baruch Spinoza.
We did it.
I hope you found this journey as thought-provoking and inspiring as we did.
I hope so.
As always, we encourage you to continue exploring.
Yes.
Read Spinoza's work. Delve into the philosophical debates he sparked.
It's worth it.
And see how his ideas can inform your own understanding of the world and your place within it.
Your place.
And if there's one final thought I'd like to leave you with, it's this. Spinoza believed that the universe is a rational order, governed by laws that we can understand. But within that order, there's also room
There is.
For wonder, for beauty, for the awe-inspiring complexity of nature.
It's all there.
So go out there, embrace the power of your own reason.
Yes.
And discover the joy of understanding.
The joy of understanding.
Until next time.
Yes.
Keep diving deep.